Hey kids, and welcome to the show. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about this book, Father, Husband, Dad. I happen to know a lot about this book because this is the book that's going to be coming out next summer in 2022. And the author happens to be somebody I'm very well acquainted with, and that would be me. So this is the book that I've been working on literally since high school. And how is that possible? How could I be thinking about this kind of book back in high school? Well, here it is. And I'm going to slow down a little bit. I'm excited. So I need to get my heart rate down a little bit. But when I was in high school and I was learning who I was, I had a lot of challenges, and it goes back to even junior high and elementary school. Not having a father figure in my home on a consistent basis was very difficult. And it was very hard growing up with an amazing mom who just wasn't a dad. And luckily for me, I was able to reach out to people in my life that could teach me the things that I needed to learn. I had an uncle, we call him Capullo. So if he watches this, he'll hear that. His actual name's Frank. And he's the one that taught me how to ride a bike. He's the one to help me swim. My Uncle Johnny gave me a passion for food. My Uncle Jerry, he taught me about work ethic. And then there were teachers that had special places for me as a young kid who didn't come from an affluent background. Relied on my charisma and my athletic abilities to basically fit in. And my first few years of high school, I couldn't read. I mean, I could say my ABCs. I was probably like on a third or fourth grade reading level. And I was playing football. And the way I was able to do that is I finagled my schedule to where I was taking like 3 PE classes and shop class and English. So I'd fail English, get A's and everything else, and that's how I played football. Well, my best friend passed away, and went to his funeral, went to football practice afterwards, got a muscle strain pretty bad, and decided I didn't want to play football anymore. So I stepped away, threw myself into ROTC, and learned how to speak in front of people and started to learn how to lead. Now this is JROTC. And I was able to experience some really cool things doing that and learned a lot of awesome things from some amazing people. Master Sergeant Harris, Colonel Palmer Tree, for example. So if any of my high school friends are watching this, and you'll recognize those names. Great teachers like Mrs. T, and we can go on and on. Anyway, people mold us and they give us advice and they give us love throughout our lives. But what I found out is one of the struggles my mom had growing up was she had to try to be mom and dad. And it's taken me 20 years to realize that she could never be dad, and she said that. And she was trying to reach this impossible goal because you just can't. You can be one or the other. You can provide some of those necessities, but there's certain things that dad needs to be around for. And that's not just for boys, that's for girls too. When I first started writing this book, it was originally just going to be to my son. And my wife, she said, your daughters are going to need to hear this too, because daughters don't have dads. So we refocused the book, which is why I changed some stuff. So went from questions for dad to more some timeless stories, some stories about my grandparents, some stories about people in my life and how they apply to the world that we're living in today. So hopefully this will be a time capsule, of my life, and a time capsule for the lives of all those beautiful, wonderful people that got me to where I'm at. So I joined the military and I got to see a lot of cool stuff and I got to get hurt a lot. I was a pretty excited soldier, so to speak. And I spent a lot of my time in the military trying to prove myself. And when you try to prove yourself in the military, you get hurt. And I got some serious injuries. I hope that one of those wisdoms is to sit back, stand back, and to realize that we have to love ourselves and we don't have to show off for anybody to love ourselves. And I learned it too late in life. I'm hoping that my children will always know that there's always going to be somebody better than you at something, and there's always going to be somebody worse than you at something. I try to teach my kids that when that's the case, you make the person that's better than you work for it. And the person that's not as good as you, grab their hand, drag them along. Our world will only change when we can instill good values into our children. So know that this book is going to be made available to every person that has just been part of this journey. But I will be doing pre-orders soon, and hopefully we can get some cool pre-orders and we'll at least pay for the publishing. Originally it was going to be about $6,000. Doing some different stuff. It's going to be just a couple thousand now. So so pre-orders will be coming soon as we get some solid numbers, probably about a month. I say soon. Pre-orders will probably happen around Christmas time. So if you have any comments on the cover art, I like the name. This is all me. So if you have any suggestions, I would love to hear them. It's not set in stone except for the title, Father, Husband, Dad. So let me go back a little bit. Why husband? And why father, husband, dad? Well, I was doing my Twitter and, things spark and you never know why they spark. But, you have your little profile on Twitter and I was reading there again just to make sure it's all updated because, when you have 5 kids, you have to go from 3 to 4 to 5. And I read it and it said father, husband, dad. I was like, why did I write father and dad in there? And I realized that, I was a father long before I was a dad. And I love my children. I've loved them from day one. And they break your heart when you first look at them. But I didn't learn how to be a dad until I learned how to be a good husband. And unfortunately, this all plays into why I think this book is important, because a single mom needs some good advice from someone who cares. And I just care. I care about those people. When I was in the service, one of the things I'm the most proud of, I was a chaplain assistant in the service. So in wartime, you're a bodyguard. In peacetime, you just do whatever. But two of the things that I focused a lot of my energy on were single parents in the military, because there's a lot of them, and suicide prevention. And those two things were basically what I devoted my life to. And so I realized that oftentimes you just need to ask somebody for help. And this is one of those books that it's a journal, or it's a compilation of my journals from, I think my earliest one is about, it's pictures because I couldn't write. That's another story, but it's about junior high, and I still journal to this day. And the time I couldn't journal, I was blogging and doing videos. So this is my life now, and I hope that this book will help people. And I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. The ebook is basically gonna be free on the website and pretty much $1 everywhere else. So this isn't about making a fortune on this book. This is about putting the book in the hands of a kid that I wish I had when I was that age. So, and I hope that this book will be something you can put in the hands of a single mother. And that will be something that my mom would have appreciated. So, until next time, work hard, be kind, and have fun.